Aloha. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Olympia. This is my dear friend, Reverend David Robinson. Unity of Olympia welcomes all of our guests from Center for Spiritual Living's Olympia.
This is my dear friend, Reverend Terry Murray. I'm a great mile pattern, straightforward kind of minister, in case you haven't noticed, so just bear with me. And the inspiration for today's service came because Terry and I meet about once a month for sushi. And that's where the talk title came from, is Loaves, Fishes, Rice, and Sushi. Because we knew we had to work sushi into the talk zone. So I'm grateful to be in your house. I'm grateful for all our people being in your house, and your house people for sharing their house with us. And we're going to do this again in October, but we're going to do it at our house. With Greg Lavoie as a guest speaker. So you can pray, or am I going to pray?
Can anybody hear me now? Cool. Yeah, great. I really like this place.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to pray. You can pray later?
I'll pray later. I'll pray again.
Okay, sounds good. So please join me. We recognize that the power and the presence of the divine is right here, right now. We open in mind, body, emotion to a greater awareness of this power, that we might be the light, that we might invite the greatest consciousness into our consciousness, perfect healing into our bodies, that we might be a blessing to one another and to the world. This we pray knowing it is so. Thank you, God. Amen. Let's sing.
We're surrounded by a land that is rich in fruits and vegetables with rice paddies. But all you see is what we have not. Can anybody relate to that? You've met people who can only see what we have. You're not. I know you guys are light. But you've got a cousin somewhere, right? or a friend who only sees what we have not? Yeah. The master said, there is more than enough right now for all. Give them our fish and give them our rice, and you will see. And so the young monk, with kind of fear and trepidation, doubt in his eyes, handed out the fish and the rice. And then to his amazement, something happened. People started pulling out food that they had already brought with them, that they were going to keep for themselves. And they started sharing it with people around them. And after everyone ate their fill, the monk went out with baskets and collected enough to feed the monastery for a week. And the Zen master said, young grasshopper. He did, I have a recording of it. 1882, summer.
Young grasshopper.
There's always enough. Don't think that just because you can't see it, it's not there. For the tide rolls out and the tide rolls in. But the ocean, the vast ocean, is always here. It's not in the future someday, it's right here, it's right now. Let your mind flow like the ocean, and you will discover that all is here now. And then the master had some sushi, and his day was done.
So this story,
Yes. Tell me a story.
the story I'm going to tell you is from, hold on everybody, just in case you're not ready for this,
The Bible.
the Bible.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is from the Bible, and it's from 2 Kings, another story of prosperity and abundance, unwitting prosperity and abundance. Elisha is one of the prophets in early Judaism who was known to be the spiritual I am. He was Jesus was mistaken as Elisha. One of the times he asked, "Do you know who I am?" So here's the story. One day, the wife of a man from the guild of prophets called out to Elisha. She said, "Your servant, my husband, is dead. You well know what a good man he was, devoted to God. And now the man to whom he was in debt is on his way to collect by taking my 2 children as slaves." Now, when I read this to my granddaughters, they were quite concerned. Elisha said, "I wonder how I can be of help. Tell me, what do you have in your house?" "Nothing," she said. "Well, I do have a little oil." "Well, here's what you do," said Elisha. And yes, this is the Message Bible, not King James. "Go up and down the street and borrow jugs and bowls from all your neighbors. And not just a few. All you can get. Then come home and lock the door behind you, you and your sons, and pour the oil into each container, and when each is full, set it aside." So she did what he said. She locked the door behind her and her sons. As they brought the containers, the boys brought the containers to her, she filled them. When all the jugs and bowls were full, she said to one of her sons, "Another jug, please." He said, "That's it. There are no more jugs." Then the oil stopped. She went and told the story to the man of God, Elisha, and he said, "Go sell the oil and make good on your debts. Live, both you and your sons, on what's left." Now, in Unity, we give a lot of attention to the metaphysical. That every story in the Bible, whether it's factual or not, has great value and meaning for us as individuals. And in this story, I hope that you hear the deep meaning in this. So I'm going to break it down for you. The wife, the widow, is the nurturing nature. She's got 2 sons in the story, right? And so she's the nurturer who is left without a husband to support her. As each one of these characters is us, this is when we fall into our own emotional nature and we can't get our frontal lobe online. Anybody have that going on ever? You never have that going on? You have the frontal lobe online all the time?
Yeah, it's the nurturing nature that I need to kick in on.
So I know you're being facetious. Good. So that happens to all of us from time to time. And Elisha, that spiritual I am, is that divine soul essence of God, the spiritual being that knows the truth, that is the truth of who and what we are. And so the widow, that emotional nature, turns to the spiritual I am and says, what do I do? What do I do? I'm going to lose my children. Children are those thoughts that can become enslaved to other people's thoughts of the worldly condition if we don't give them what they need. So that those thoughts of ours that run around out there and say, yeah, I need this, I need that, I don't have, those are our children thoughts. And in order to bring them in line, we must nurture them. We must provide them with what they need. And this is our experience, right? So Elisha says, you have stuff at home. Get help from your neighbors. This is the point of community, is it not? It's the reason that we come together once a week to remember that we're here for each other, that we're not alone in this. I'm not the Lone Ranger. Sometimes I think I am. That's when my frontal lobe comes on and okay. But we're not. We're not the Lone Ranger. And so we turn to our neighbors, our family, our friends, the people in spiritual community, and we ask, can you help me enlarge my container? And so we get the idea that there's more than what I think there is at home. And we take those home and we take our thoughts that may wander off without us. And we lock up and we pray. And we say, here it is. Oil represents love. Oil on everything. At that time, oil was life. It was light. You couldn't make bread without it. You couldn't have a household without it. And so that oil continuing to pour into every container, we allow that love to bless those thought children. We allow that love to bless us. We allow the love to bring our frontal lobe back online. And all of our needs are met. Every story within the Bible, and this story in particular, is a story of abundance. It's all within us already. And today we're doing this Hawaiian theme, and we're relaxing up here. Reverend David and I chose to sit in a relaxed position because this is the position of receptivity. Ho'oponopono is a favorite of mine, and I'm guessing many of you are familiar with it. It's I love you. Okay, well, how's it go? It's 4 parts. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Yeah. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And the story is that it became famous when Joe Vitale found out about this psychiatrist, I'm not sure, a doctor, who had been working with prisoners who never actually met one single prisoner, but started saying this prayer for the prisoners, and they had a higher rate of healing, of mental health return to mental health than any other prison that had been reported, as a result of him just saying this prayer for them. So Vicki, our choir director, thank you, Vicki Loveland, did a whole bunch of research and started finding out and sharing with me that it's more than this simple Americanized, Anglicized version of I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I see the wholeness in you. I see the enoughness in you. I see you as who you've come here to be. Yeah. Amen?
Amen.
Yes. That is the very foundation of abundance and prosperity. That place of abundance and wholeness. We're with it, right?
We're with it.
Yes. In Hawaii, there's a story that every person is born with a bowl of light. There is a bowl of light that is who and what we are. And then as we walk through life, we learn things that may not bless us so much. And rocks get put in that bowl. You get a resentment, you get a false belief as a child about not being good enough. You get the idea that I never have enough. And each one of these beliefs that we start to carry and incorporate, they go on top of the light that is in the bowl, that is the very inheritance of who and what we are, so that left untended with these rocks, it can appear that the light goes out. But the truth is, the light never goes out from who and what we are. It's always there. All we have to do is turn the bowl over, and we are filled with light. It's the truth of who and what we are. Good stuff?
Good stuff.
Yeah?
Good stuff. So, to kind of summarize, I should put the microphone on.
Yes.
To summarize, in both of these stories that we've told, stuff comes up that pulls us away from our inherent nature. Whether it's the young monk tugging on the sleeve and saying, we got people to feed, we don't have enough food. Or whether it's the debtors coming to collect her son. How many of you have voices that tug on you once in a while and say, and take you off your center, or want to convince you to come off your center? Anybody besides me? Okay, good.
I got 4 grandchildren. Well, they bring me back to center too.
Yes, they do. And so we have these voices that want to pull us away. And in both of these stories, there was a going within. The Zen master goes within. He stops listening to everything around him. The widow and her sons, Elijah tells them, go within. Go into your house and lock the door. Cut off the flow of that negativity. That's the hard part. Because sometimes that negativity sounds so attractive, doesn't it? I really want to believe this, because I've been doing this for a lot of years. I believe in this, there's not enough. And I've got lots of evidence that says there's not enough, and it's still a lie. And so we have to close off our doors. We have to go within. We have to stop listening to these voices trying to pull us off to the sides. And as we do, then we become in touch with the enoughness that is already there. See, we don't have to make it happen. It's already here. I like to say we have to just make it welcome instead of make it happen. Because we do live in a world of abundance, a universe of abundance, a universe of light. I love that story of the bowl of light. And we can throw rocks on it, but the light is always there. We're just playing a game of hide and seek with it from ourselves, yes?
Yes.
And so we take the time to do that, to go within, to go into our closet, as Jesus said, to go into, I think that Elijah used the same metaphor, go into your closet in the verse. And so We have to go to that place within us and remember the truth of who we are. So this week we have a couple of spiritual practices. I always give my class, that's the Center for Spiritual Living, homework. So are you Unitics ready for some homework too?
Lunatics.
Yes, they are.
So notice where your mind tries to convince you there's not enough. As you go through your day, as you go through your week, just notice when you start to hear that there's not enough love, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough ideas, there's not enough energy. Just notice where you run into the not enoughnesses in your life. And we all do. Because it's a race consciousness, it's a consciousness that's deeply embedded in the human race of not enough. And so just notice it. Don't fight it, just notice it. I like to say, look at it with compassionate curiosity. Thank you for sharing. That voice is trying to keep you safe. It's just that you want to let more of your light out. And you're not interested in being safe, you're interested in letting your light out. Yes? Yes. And so that's number 2 is thank you for sharing. And then number 3, go within. Go into your closet, go within, ask your inner wisdom self to show you the abundance that is actually there. The fullness, the unlimitedness, to use today's reading, that is already and always present. Even if you don't know yet how to access it, it's there. And sometimes we sit there and go, I don't know how, instead of just saying, there's not enough for me to afford that. It's, I don't know how to afford that yet, but I'm willing to learn. Different consciousness.
That's
yes.
very good.
I like that. Yeah. I looked at Miatas, read Miatas for 25 years and didn't know how to afford one. But I kept on going.
Nice. Is it 25 years old?
It's only 2 years old.
Yay! Yay!
And 13 days, but who's counting?
2 years and 13 days.
Express gratitude for that abundance. Move into gratitude even before you see the abundance, just knowing that it's there. And that starts to surface it. So that's our 3 spiritual practices. Number 1, just notice the times that voice of not enough starts to creep into your life. Okay? Number 2, thank you for sharing. Just thank you for sharing. Don't fight it. Don't get into an argument with it. Just thank you for sharing. And then number 3, go within that inner wisdom self and ask it to reveal the abundance that is right here, right now, in this situation, and move into gratitude for it. You willing to play with that this week?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. You have a quote, don't you?
Yeah, from Ernest Holmes.
Who?
Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes. Do y'all know who that is? Yes. So he is the founder of the Centers for Spiritual Living, previously known at his time as Religious Science.
Was his wife named Myrtle?
He did not have a wife named Myrtle. Matter of fact, I don't know if he was married. How many times?
Was.
Just checking.
Not like me. His wife's name was Hazel.
Hazel. That's a lovely name.
She was a lovely woman.
Ernest said, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this is ours? All of it. Together? All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much of it as we can embody. As much of it as we can embody. Amen. Amen. invite you to put aside whatever may be in your hands at this time and allow the chair to fully support you. In the Hawaiian theme, if you wish to slip your shoes off, you go right ahead. Close your eyes if that's comfortable, and if it's not, then find a focal point upon which your eyes might rest. Let's move into an awareness of the body, starting with the feet, the legs, relaxing any muscles that may be tense on the way, the lower torso and the back, the belly, shoulders. Just allow things to soften up. Arms, even the hands. As the attention is moving through the body, there may be some part of the body that is calling for greater attention than others. Let us bless it now. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. We bless the entire body this way, knowing that the body is a temple of the divine, that the presence and power of Spirit, of God, of Allah, lives in every cell, is expressing through every organ, through the tissue, through the bone. I love you. Sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Taking a deep breath now. Releasing. We come into the space of knowing the truth of today's message, our unlimitedness. My divine nature is unlimited. Please affirm this with me. My divine nature is unlimited. Through the power and presence of the divine essence, we are truly unlimited. We know this truth for ourselves. We know it for our neighbors. We know it for this community as a whole and for the communities that we are. My divine nature is unlimited. I want to invite you to imagine a bowl of light. In your mind's eye, the bowl is large. And it is filled with light. There are no stones in this bowl. It is warm. It is a blessing to you. It is a blessing to others. This bowl of light gives off life itself, love. It is an effervescent light, illuminating all that is good and worthy and kind, multiplying all efforts on your behalf to bring more good into the world. This bowl of light is the truth of every every sentient being. So as we see it for ourselves, we see it for all. I'm going to invite you to be in the silence for just a moment with that bowl of light for yourself and others. Unlimited, unlimited God in each sentient being. My divine nature is unlimited. Affirm this with me, please. My divine nature is unlimited. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Holy Essence, for this awareness of the truth of who and what we are